here we go. Finally got him. Ladies and gentlemen, Stephen Ray, Stingray himself.
Hey man, how are you doing today?
Man, I'm trying to keep up with you, man. Look, your Rolodex, your itinerary, it's hard to keep up. I know you got things going on, so I appreciate you taking the time to sit and talk with me. We are coast to coast today, right? I'm in California, and you on the other side. It's all right. What's the weather going like in your neck of the woods?
It's actually raining right now. We're supposed to have a front come through and bring some showers and then some heavy rain later on. So it's not really Christmas weather, but it is going to feel like Christmas weather on Christmas because it's going to be 38 degrees here.
Okay, let's talk about that sweater you got on too, man. I'm rocking the Mamba gear, but
Yes.
I'm liking the festivities that
Yes.
you rock in there. Okay.
Yeah, thank you, man. Thank you. I was just doing some Christmas stuff, and we actually just finished doing some Christmas cheer and that kind of stuff. So it's always fun this time of the year, man.
You're a good man. You know that's I like the sound of that. So talk to us a little bit about who am I talking to? Let the folks know who Stingray is. You've got a colorful story for sure, and I'm not even gonna try to do it justice. I'm gonna let it come straight from and respectfully say the horse's mouth.
Thank you, man. As you can see back here behind me, if I can get my back here behind me, there we go. I've got these cowbells. And the reason for that is because I was a Mississippi State fan. Back in 2014, when the SEC signed on the TV, the SEC network, Paul Feinbaum, on his first day on the air on TV, said that we would like to have a representative from the 14 SEC schools to come on, call in or send in videos and tell us why you think your team is going to win. Well, I had a sports broadcasting degree from the University of Alabama. I was a Mississippi State fan, and the Paul Feinbaum show really didn't have a spokesperson for Mississippi State on the show. So oddly enough, I sent in my first rant the weekend or the week that Mississippi State went down to Baton Rouge and upset LSU. And in that rant, I said that Mississippi State was actually going to shock the world because of the Dak attack, Dak Prescott, and they were going to go down there and beat LSU in Tiger Stadium. And I sent that rant into Feinbaum. He didn't show it. And the reason he didn't show it was because Mississippi State had not won in Baton Rouge since 1992. So he thought it was a stupid rant and he didn't show it. Well, Mississippi State went down there and just basically annihilated LSU. And so the next week I put out another rant for the Texas A&M game. And I actually called out Feinbaum. I said, last week I sent you in a rant. You didn't show it. So I'm trying it again. And he showed that one. It really went viral. And thus Stingray was born. And then fast forward a year to 2015, we're playing LSU again. And this time it's actually in Starkville. And I put out a rant that was really over the top. I think it honestly was my best rant. I actually had an urn behind me, and I'm standing there. And in the rant, I say, "We are Mississippi State. Fear the Bales." And that one video got 330,000 views in 1 week on YouTube, and thus Stingray was really born. And then later on, I was very lucky and fortunate enough to be asked to come out west to where you are and actually be on the set of Tosh.0. Daniel Tosh of Comedy Central actually invited me to come out and do a celebrity profile And then that, of course, really took off Stingray, and I've never really looked back. But as long and no matter how, popular I get, no matter how much fame or, I don't even like to say that, I'm always still humble, and I'm always still, down to earth, because I think that's what people like. And, I'm not fake. The people the person that you see in the videos is the same person that I am right now. I don't put on a face just for the camera and I'm somebody else behind the scenes. No, this person right here is the same person you get 24/7. And I think that's what people like about me, is that I'm genuine and I'm not fake, and I'm true to who I am.
I love it. So you essentially, I got the big man on campus here, right?
Yeah.
Look, I got the man who's rabble rousing with Feinbaum and hanging out in LA with the movie stars. I love it, man. But I'm noticing a couple other schools behind you though, right?
Yeah.
You got Georgia Tech, you got Auburn behind you. So you are a fan of just collegiate
Yes.
football activities in and of itself, even though you're a Mississippi State man, right?
Yes, but honestly, there was if there's anything negative about that story that I just told, after the Tosh.0 rant and me going on Tosh, the Mississippi State fans took it personal. And they didn't realize that it was a comedy skit. And so I was overweight then. And so the Mississippi State fans started bullying me and fat shaming me on social media. And
Man.
I was like, you know what? If you guys are going to treat me like that, then I'm just going to move on and be the bigger person here, and basically just kind of, leave my fandom behind. And since that time, I realized that I'm a sports broadcaster. That's what I got my degree in. And I really want to try and push that avenue. So really the past 2 years, I've kind of backed up and watched college football as a fan of the sport, not necessarily one team. And I try to be as unbiased as possible. And with that, it has been a joy and really fun to watch these past 2 years college football, because when you're so emotional and the ups and the downs and the peaks and the valleys, you really don't take in the majesty of what college football really is and how great it really is. And I'll give you another example. All the teams that lost to LSU last year, we hate LSU. We hate LSU. We hate Joe Burrow. And you really can't realize how special of a football team that really was. Yeah. Arguably, that could potentially be one of the best teams in all of college football history.
Well, don't tell Saban that, but no. But I agree with you 100%, and right. I really applaud and agree with you the way that you look at sports in and of itself as well, because I'm this exact same way. Right. Ever since Jordan stopped playing, right? Yeah. Ever since Michael stopped playing, I don't have a team or I don't root for anyone specifically. Yes. I normally root for the underdogs, or I'll root for coaches, right? Or I'll cheer for the story. Yes. Right. So if it's a great story, so baseball. The story was LA. They needed to win the World Series just because of the story of everything that had gone on and was focused on there. With Kobe again. That's interesting. I'm wearing my Kobe gear, but so that was a great story. What else is going on right now?
Carolina was a great story. Indiana.
Right, See, those are good conversations for true sports fans, not just the armchair quarterbacks, not just the ones that are sitting around thinking that they can go out there and still run a 40 or whatever in record times. But if you appreciate the game and you appreciate the blood, sweat, the tears, and the planning and what goes on beyond the operations piece, then those are the things that we cheer for. So I like what you said about that right there.
And getting back to that, everybody likes a feel-good story. Well, honestly, if you look at the 4-team playoff right now that just came out this past week, there really is no feel-good story there. because you basically have the blue bloods of college football. How exciting from a fan perspective would it have been to go Alabama, Clemson, A&M, and maybe Cincinnati? I mean, that would have been amazing, and especially from the Cincinnati standpoint.
Wow. And I've been watching a little bit more Clemson. Just seeing what's going on out there. I was at the national championship game in Arizona.
Wow.
So let me preface that. I was there for business.
Right.
And I was in the midst. So I went to lunch with some clients, and I saw this caravan of cars coming by, and they all had the Alabama logo on it.
Yes.
I said, "Well, damn, there goes Saban."
Yes.
It wasn't him, but it was just, again, it was just to see that whole parade of vehicles going by. So, and then we drove by the stadium, saw the excitement. Obviously, that was cool. I picked up some swag, obviously, but those are the good things.
Yes.
Those are the good memories for sure. You say you went to college, got your degree in sports broadcasting. Phenomenal. And I guess that plays well into what you guys are doing with CTS Interview Room, right? Talk to me a little bit about what the CTS Interview Room really is.
So CTS Interview basically is owned by Marvin Constant and then Joey Hicks, and they have just recently added me on as well. So I'm kind of the newbie here. But basically, they have a sports show called The Interview Room, where we talk about college sports. Then they also have an entertainment side of it, where they go out and they interview big time entertainment people as well. Recently, I think it was last Sunday, they had a contributor on there from Fox News. Bad, right, or wrong. And then I think in January, they have lined up potentially Bill Engvall. So we just kind of have different entertainment people on there. But like I said, I'm more of the sports avenue right now. So I've never really gotten to sit in on one of the entertainment shows. So you would have to ask Marvin more about the entertainment side, but I'm more of the sports guy.
No worries. You're the statistics man as opposed to the telling jokes. Got it.
Correct.
Talking sports, I'm gonna change sports on you a little bit. I honestly didn't even realize that the NBA season officially started last night.
Yes.
Now, how sad is that? I could have swore it was still preseason, and sure enough, I turned it on, and the Lakers and all them are getting their rings, and the Clippers put something on them. That's just a sign of this crazy year. What are your thoughts on 2020 from a sports perspective, and kind of what you've seen across the four majors, right? Across football, basketball, baseball, and what are you seeing?
Well, we got through it. There was a lot of Corona bros out there that said there shouldn't be college football. There shouldn't be any college basketball, blah, 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 blah. And a lot of the college football games actually got played that were scheduled. There were more played than there were, not played. And then, of course, you look at all the other sports, the NBA and Major League Baseball, they handled it well. I really, and honestly, just between us, I feel like the college football handled it the worst. And I say that because of what happened with the Big 12. The Big 10 and the Pac-12 starting so late. And then, of course, you had all that drama about we're not playing. The players and their families were protesting outside of the Big Ten offices. Then you were going to have Penn State and Nebraska potentially pull out. I mean, that was a really big time disaster for college sports.
Yeah. And talk to us, folks. So folks know college sports, understand this, and I want to hear it also from your perspective, because again, I'm on the West Coast, and the mentality is different when it comes to college sports, especially college football. Talk to us about the passion right, that the SEC, right? Again, about college football, primarily on the East Coast versus what I see here on the West Coast. And all my family is on the East Coast, so I know how you feel. I know what you live. But talk to us a little bit about, again, the realness of college sports on the East Coast.
Well, it's unlike any other. I mean, it's the pageantry, the tradition, the hype of college football down here in the South and in the East is amazing. But let me explain why I feel that is. Because out west, you guys have the NBA teams, you guys have the Major League Baseball teams, and of course, you have some NFL teams as well to deal with. Down south, a lot of our, NFL teams, pardon my language, we suck. Tennessee's not good. Atlanta's not good. Carolina's not good. Tampa.
Poor Atlanta. Poor Atlanta. Oh, yeah. God damn. Matt Bryant. God. Okay. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Major League Baseball, the Braves always choke. The NBA, Memphis is not that good. Alabama and Mississippi don't have any teams. And then, of course, the Hawks are not that good. So what do we have to rally around? College football. And that's the reason why. It's because we have nothing else down here.
You know what? And I've never heard it just made so plain. My pastor always say, make it plain. And literally that, when you put it into that perspective, right? And you put the thumbprints on the map.
Yes.
That is what it is, right? It is the Georgia Techs. It is the Auburns. It is the Alabamas.
Yes. Now, I will tell you that some of this it's great and awesome, but some of this gets taken a little bit too far. And some of that stuff you just kind of have to cringe at because of the pageantry and the rivalry and the traditions down here. It reaches a tipping point eventually. And unfortunately, it can get pretty nasty.
Yeah, that's truth and reality as well. Yeah, I mean because the ownership that the fans, short-term fanatics. I mean the ownership that folks typically have for their team and their program, and
right.
Those Monday morning quarterbacks. I mean the folks that think that they could be throwing that ball better than Burrow was, and better than any starting quarterback on any other team. So
can I give you an example?
Sure.
Alabama just won the SEC championship game. They are undefeated. They're going into the playoffs at number 1. They're playing Notre Dame in the 14 playoff in the semifinal. After the game Saturday night and on Sunday, all you heard on Twitter was, it wasn't, congratulations, we have a great team, yada, yada, yada. It was, can we fire Pete Golding, Alabama's defensive coordinator? Fire Golding. Our defense is atrocious. Our defense is awful. Blah, 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 blah. It wasn't, okay, we won the SEC championship game. And Florida also had a Heisman Trophy candidate quarterback and a great weapons like Trask, Grimes, Tony. Oh, no. It was not any of that. It was, our defense is horrible. It's going to cost us. Fire Golden. I'm just like, are you kidding me? And
take the win, you guys. Take the win, right? Come on, fans.
And this just blew my mind, man. Okay, this is how insane and crazy this conference is. Alabama had won 27 straight games going into the national championship that they got blown out in by Trevor Lawrence and Dabo. After that game, Bama fans were like, fire Saban. He's too old to coach. We got to get some new blood in there. And I'm sitting there going, this guy just won you 2 straight SEC championship games and got you 27 straight wins. And because of one bad game, you want to get rid of the guy?
Yeah. You want to kick him out with the trash for one game.
And I'm
it's one important game, but again, look at the longevity. Look at what the man has done for the town.
And look, I live in Tuscaloosa. I was born and raised here.
Right
A
on.
lot of people will tell you that Alabama fans just absolutely loved Bear Bryant. He was the greatest thing ever. Not really. When his last few years, when he started losing 2 games, 3 games, 4 games, Bama fans actually wanted to kick him to the curb and kick him under the curb because
Oh,
of
wow.
the 2 losses, 3 losses a year. And some of the things that they were saying were really nasty and bad. And look, let me say this. Look at the time between Saban got to Tuscaloosa and now. Look at how much Nick Saban has just aged. And the reason is because of all of the issues of having to deal with the pressure of being a coach at Alabama. I will say this. I would not want to be the guy who replaces Nick Saban. And I tell you what, I think Dabo Swinney would turn that down in a heartbeat because you don't want to be the guy who follows the guy.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. And I don't see Dabo leaving Clemson for an Alabama job. I
Right.
mean, if anything, he'll go do assistant coach or
Yes.
something in the NFL, but I could not see him crossing the pond
Right.
and going
And
over there.
even though
That's just not in his DNA.
And even though this is his home, he's an Alabama boy. Just look at how bad Saban has aged over the last 10 years just by being here and all the pressure that is on him.
Yeah, yeah. That's perspective for sure.
Yeah.
That's perspective for sure. So when do the playoffs start again? I mean, because again, yeah, when is all? Because I'm all off kilter this whole year. Again, I didn't even know. Like I said, NBA started. When does everything actually finally kick off?
Okay, January the 1st is the 2 semifinal games. The first one is Clemson Notre Dame. I'm sorry, Clemson Ohio State, followed up by Alabama Notre Dame.
Okay.
And the Clemson Notre Dame, the Clemson Ohio State game was supposed to be in Pasadena, but with the COVID issues, the Rose Bowl backed out. So now they've moved it to Dallas.
That's what I was going to ask you that question. So your thoughts on that? I mean, again, that's a tradition thing. Yeah, understand that. We've got a pandemic and we got to deal with that and all, but wow, now you're taking the Rose Bowl and moving it,
yes,
of all places, from California to Texas.
Yes,
you're moving into Jerry's world, but
right.
All right, but so that's going to be an interesting thing, right?
Yes, definitely, and that's just some of the issues that you have to deal with COVID. And especially all of the problems that the Pac-12 had, and especially Washington won their division, but because of COVID, they had to drop out of the Pac-12 championship game. So Oregon actually won the Pac-12 without winning their division because they knocked off the South champion in USC.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, that's just how crazy this season has been in one example.
Can't keep up, man.
No.
So the way I'm gonna keep up is make sure I tune into the CTS interview room.
Yes.
Make sure.
Thank you, man. Appreciate that.
I love it. Now, when do you guys typically film and record your show? Is it a regular every week, every month?
Every Sunday, every Sunday. But this week, because of Christmas, we're doing it tonight.
Okay. And everything's primarily on I got your YouTube channel here, so everything's primarily on YouTube, and
then Facebook. Yes, we do have a Facebook as well. We have a Twitter, but nobody really does anything.
Nobody's tweeting.
No,
nobody's tweeting.
And there's some other stuff too. I think they have an Instagram page, but I'm mostly on their Facebook and their YouTube.
Got you. Well, man, look, I'm just glad that we finally were able to catch up. The stuff that you've told me is interesting in and of itself. I think you're a cool dude, not just because of that cool sweater you got on, and But I think next year, from a sporting perspective and from a college sporting perspective, it's going to be completely different than we've ever
Yeah.
seen it before. Again, just from protocols, just from how fans are, how are we going to be able to come back, how the teams are going to be engaging, right? Testing and
Yes.
whatever the case may be, right? And then probably this whole dynamic of what the conferences look like. So as active participants from a fan
Right.
perspective, I think all we can do is keep watching and keep cheering. Stop giving coaches hard times just because they lose one or two games.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Definitely.
What else you got going on, man? Tell us what else you guys got going on with the CTS, or even you, man. Are you going out there and giving Feinbaum any more problems in the near future?
No, I'm not really giving him any other problems. But besides the CTS interview room, I'm also doing my own show, and this
Okay.
stays separate from CTS. And so, I have actually, because of my fandom with social media and being Stingray, I've actually started the Stingray show. And
Okay.
every Tuesday and Friday, we do it live on my social media page. And it's at Stephen Ray 30 on Twitter. And then Facebook is Stephen Stingray Ray. And
Nice.
we basically, my co host and I, basically interview former players and TV analysts. And basically,
Okay.
we just sit there and we let them tell stories. I mean, we're not one of these shows like, okay, Alabama's going to win the point spread by yada, yada, yada. Basically, our show is we ask you to come on. We want you to break down the game. But then, of course, we also want you to tell us your favorite Steve Spurrier story or your favorite Lou Holt story or
Okay.
relive one of the best games you ever called. So that's really what separates us from any of the other shows, is because we like to bring people on and really focus on the storytelling. And some of the guests that we've had on, not to brag or anything, but some of our
Go ahead and brag. It's okay.
previous guests have been Tom Luganbill was on our show yesterday. Tony Barnhart, Cole Kubelik. We've had on, let's see, Peter Burns from the SEC Network, Dory
Okay.
Noka from the SEC Network, and head coach Hugh Freeze has been on twice.
Nice. I will make sure to put those links kind of in the show
Okay,
notes so
great.
folks can definitely tune into that, and I will
Yep.
definitely tune in myself
Thank you.
in the coming weeks. So,
Okay.
Stingray, I appreciate you, brother.
Thank you.
Enjoy the rest of the holiday. Be good to yourself. Take care of yourself, and I appreciate you taking the time again, man.
And real quick too, I would also like to mention this, and I'll keep it short.
No worries.
But because of the bullying and fat shaming, if you go back and look at me in my Mississippi State days, I was morbidly obese, I was extremely overweight, and I was extremely unhealthy. And so I am proud to say, with diet and exercise, no weight loss surgery, and no diet pills, in the last 2 years, I have successfully lost 122 pounds.
Man, you looking good too, brother. That's
Thank
that's how
you.
we that's how we end the show right there.
Yes.
Congratulations,
So
man. I love
thank
that.
you. I was 368 pounds at my biggest. I'm currently 245.
God, slim and trim, brother.
Yeah.
Slim and trim.
So also
Stingray.
on my social media
I love
pages,
that.
thank you. And also on my social media pages, I update people on my weight loss journey because I've got like about 25 pounds left to go to reach my goal.
Okay. You know what? This is just a side note. Maybe we can have a conversation about that as well
Yeah.
on another one of my shows
Yeah.
because we typically cover topics like that, and
Okay.
I would love to hear what you're doing and how you're doing it. Right, those are the kind of things that motivate other folks, and just giving
Okay.
tips and tricks and just really to help
Yes.
build conversation and community. So
Okay. Yes, definitely.
I've just roped you into another interview.
That's fine with me, man. I love doing this. I love meeting new people. And so, yeah, count me down.
Awesome. Thanks. Be good to yourself, man. I'll talk to you soon.
All right, man. Thank you. Merry Christmas.
You too, brother.